during COVID and lockdowns, I just started riding my bike way more, running for much longer, and all of a sudden it was like, you know what, I know what these guys are doing in racing to win. They're running, you know, a marathon at 4 minutes per K. I can do that in training. Why can't I go and do an Ironman and try and win it? Winning Ironman Mallorca, like, obviously that was just, yeah, tops it, because in terms of where it put me in comparison with other people on the world stage, definitely an eye-opener actually, and kind of like all of a sudden that's the ballpark I'm in. And going into 2022, yeah, I can actually look at races with a sort of different mindset, and I've still got that. I'm still kind of a rookie and be first world champ, so not that much pressure, but then I can still have that aspiration for the top places, I hope. There's definitely a winter period where we're just maintaining a base in terms of fitness, and then obviously trying to push stuff in terms of strength or speed. So that'll be around 20 hours of just the overall endurance volume is brought down, but the core of the training structure is still there. And usually it's 5 swims a week, which is about 8 hours. And then bike will probably be another 10 hours, and running maybe 5 hours. So, and a bit of SNC, of course, just to make sure that I'm strengthening those areas where I might be a bit weaker. And so, yeah, winter training is around 20, 25 hours. And then we've got a real build-up phase towards the big races where we'll just take off 30-hour weeks with a few days of recovery once in a while, but it's just super consistent, and we've got that gradual build up in terms of training load. Yeah, so doing engineering studies and training as a professional athlete, yeah, it's definitely kind of unique. There are a few other pros out there who are doing PhDs, I think, or other studies, but it's definitely not the majority of us. At times it's tough to balance, because obviously you've got deadlines that might, you know, concur. So for example, I've got my biggest project that's due 2 days before Utah World Champs. So I've got a bit of flexibility with uni. They're aware of my situation, and I let them know what's going to happen, and they're happy to extend some deadlines. So that's always easy. It's just easier, I guess. But then on a daily basis, you just need to be organized, and you get busy, obviously. It might cut into your recovery a bit, but then it's nice to have that sort of headspace where you can focus on one thing or take your mind off the other by just putting energy into your studies. Or if you've had a big day at uni, then it's nice to clear the air with a nice bike ride around Bath. Well, I'm racing Ironman and Embrunman. These events last like 8 hours, 9 hours, 9.5 hours. So that length of time means that you need a strategy that you can hit at every point in the race, especially early on. And with my background in engineering, I know how important it is to have data that you can measure, because once you've got the data, there's something that you can put into place to actually control it, and actually you know what the outcome can be at the end. And I've just been really implementing that engineering mindset and how we approach project management, for example, and all the little components that are going to build up into one good performance. And you really need to make sure that every piece of the puzzle is monitored and controlled, and you've got a feedback strategy, for example, so that you're always at the right levels at the right time. Yeah, it's just a relationship that we've worked at genuinely, and you guys have put a lot of effort into helping me nail my nutrition and hydration strategies, and I think I've been diligent enough in executing them, being transparent with the data, what I did do, and then we've been bouncing ideas back and forth to make sure that we were, I don't know, finessing that strategy and making sure that it was getting better and better. And I think Embrunman in Mallorca really showed that we had something that we knew worked, and obviously we're going to keep on tweaking, but it was definitely the culmination of strategies that we tried out in the past and built upon after that. The amount of carbs that I've been taking on and the amount of electrolytes, and making sure that I had that base covered, and then everything on course, whether it's water or more fuel in terms of gels, I actually knew what I needed to take and I could adjust on the fly. But it's just made me aware of what I'm taking on and how it's helping me perform. That's really been the eye-opener. I spend a lot of time on the turbo because when it's raining and high winds and debris on the road, you don't want to be on your TT bike in the UK because it just gets dangerous very quickly. So I'm spending a lot of time indoors, sweating, making sure I'm used to the fuel that I'm taking, the electrolytes that I'm taking on board, so that I'm not doing anything new on race day. That's definitely something I want to avoid. Yeah, I go into every race knowing that I can do everything that I plan to do. I'm not going to be testing anything new, and all the power, all the pace, everything that I'm going to do is something I've done in the past. The aim is to have races there with no regrets, because I feel like if I have a race where I can deliver on my potential and just execute what I do day in, day out in training, I'm sure I'll be pleased with the results. And so obviously I'm going to do everything I can to avoid mechanicals, to avoid crashes. Just be ready on D-Day and execute the plan that we're going to come up with, and just enjoy the whole experience. It's just crazy that I'm in this situation right now, being able to travel to the US, race the best guys in the world, and just be a part of it. And obviously I want to do well, perform, and hopefully win some races, but it still need to be able to appreciate how lucky I am to be in this position.